Are you struggling to advance your career and sacrificing time with your loved ones because of endless to-dos, low energy, and just not enough time in the day? If so, then this podcast is for you. I am your host, Dr. Ann Sung, an ER, critical care, and space doctor, a peak performance coach, real estate investor, and a mother of a toddler. I'm here to guide you on mastering your mind and give you the essential skills to achieve peak performance. So welcome to Productivity MD, where you can learn to master your time and achieve the 5 freedoms in life. Hello, welcome to Productivity MD podcast. And I'm your host, Dr. Ann Sung. Today, I have Dr. Marina Aghababyan. She's full-time family medicine trained physician, and also she's a mom. She's a founder of Physician Moms Thrive, and she does life coaching for physician moms. And, I'm a physician mom myself, and this could really apply to a lot of professionals who are moms, I think. So that's why I wanted to bring her on to see what kind of tactics or actions that can really make our lives easier as we're trying to juggle full-time job and the household and the kids, etc. So Dr. A, thank you so much for coming on the show. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do exactly, in terms of your family medicine practice, and why did you begin this new venture of starting Physician Moms Thrive?
Sure. So I am family medicine trained, but I have been working as a hospitalist for the past 6 years. And how I got into this is a few years ago, I was really burned out, working as a hospitalist, and it was pandemic. We were just asked to see more and more patients all the time. The reimbursement was going down. We were getting decrease in the salary. They were taking away our benefits. I was just really unhappy, with my job. I was thinking about leaving my job on almost everyday basis, and even thinking about leaving medicine a lot of times because I just felt like it's not sustainable and things are just getting worse and worse. But even more than that, I feel like there were, things at home that I was struggling with. I just felt like there were, which I believe so many moms struggle with. I just felt like there were not enough hours in the day. I had like this list going through my mind at all times of things I needed to do. So I didn't feel like I was fully present. I was just always on the go. I felt like I was a bad mom, like I didn't spend enough time with my kids, like I didn't have enough patience for them. I felt like a bad wife, like I didn't spend enough time with my husband, like I was angry at him all the time for not helping me enough. And the list just goes on and on. So just so many things. And it wasn't until I discovered coaching that things really started to change. And a little disclaimer with coaching, like things just don't happen overnight. It's not like an effortless thing, but I think it's those, small changes that happen with time. First of all, I realized, how much of our reality is shaped by our mindset with the thoughts, that we're having and how we think about things that really changes everything. And then I kind of started changing, some things slowly, little by little. And it just like those little things add up over time. And one day you just realize that you're at a completely different place and see how much things have changed. So once I noticed how much it has changed my life, I really wanted to learn more about it. And I wanted to help other physician moms also, find that work-life balance, just kind of like realign with, your goals and your priorities.
Got it. Yeah. It's like a never-ending work in progress, even with coaching. I completely agree. When I started coaching, getting coached too, like, looking back at 4 or 5 years, the trajectory was just incremental. But at the same time, this morning, I was just like, I'm 37 weeks pregnant and there's no food. And why does my husband not have like my food prepared for me? So it's work in progress. But that's
Mhm.
awesome. I'm so happy that, you realized the benefit of coaching. So you started this coaching practice yourself. And why should people care about coaching, or why should moms even, because, okay, I hear a lot, I don't have enough time to get coached or to find a coach. I don't have the money to find a coach. Why should they actually take some action and commitment to and some effort into this realm. And it's not even about coaching. It's about like finding help in general, right? Or doing something different than what you're doing now. Why should moms care about this?
Because it can really change your life truly. It's like we all are kind of start at that point, right? We feel like we don't have enough time. For me personally, like if you think about it, I'm still at the exact same job. I work full time, just like I did before. Nothing has changed at home, and I still have 24 hours in the day, just like everybody else. But things are just so very different. I'm really happy and content with where I am, so it is really just that mindset shift. And then it is the things that how you kind of rebuild your life to be realign with what you want. So have, taking time for yourself, some self-care, so many things.
Yeah. And well, so maybe we can dig into a little bit of the what. What was your life before? And ever since you implemented we'll talk about the actions and the how do you did it. But what was your life before like? And then what is your life like now in terms of, what differences did it actually make? For our audience, for our moms, like, I want them to imagine what is actually possible and in what time frame.
Okay. So, and remind me some of those things if I forget when I start talking. So, I think some of the most important things, especially for physician moms, I mean, it's many things really that you change with the time. But one of the most important things is self-care, I would say. I think so many times we're used to taking care of everybody else, our kids, obviously, our home, our husbands, our patients, and we really forget about ourselves and we lose ourselves in that. And we truly don't have time. Like, if you think about it, it does feel like you really don't have time. There is just so many things. But once you make it a priority to take care of yourself, things start shifting. For me, I think one of the first things that I changed that made my life so much better was just exercising. When I had my second child, my daughter, I obviously like gained some weight, and I didn't lose it. And I was really with the job and everything, was so exhausted, so overwhelmed. And I truly didn't have time to work out. And my husband would ask me, because he works out every day, he would ask me, like, why don't you work out? And I was like, I don't have time. And when I didn't have, and I truly didn't have time. And even if I had a little bit of time, I wanted to just like sit down, take a breather and not do anything because I felt that that's what I needed. But once I made it a priority, I'm going to start exercising a few times a week and started exercising, then I actually had more energy and to do the things, right, that I needed to do. So like that's just like one of the small examples of small thing you can do for yourself, then that makes everything, better. We really truly need to take care of ourselves so that we could, take care of others. And regarding, you mentioned, the financial aspects of coaching. I think there is so many in these days, like free resources as well that you can utilize. One of the first things I did was I just listened to the podcast by Brooke Castillo, the founder of the Life Coach School, which is where I trained. And that's when I kind of fell in love with coaching. But there is so many other, podcasts, books, so many things, that are affordable and that people can start with.
Yeah, yeah. So it's essentially free mentors, free coaching, or books like, on Audible. And how has your life changed from before and now?
I think it has changed, I mean, drastically, because in comparison with before, where I felt like I had no time at all, like now I felt, at one point I felt like I want to do something else on top of everything else that I have. I still have all the things like I had before, right, that I had to do. But now, like I, crafted the time for coaching where I have my, clients that I coach. So I feel like I have so much more time and I have so much more energy and I'm so much happier than I was before. So I think those are kind of the main changes. Well,
And
again, circumstances have not really changed, right? Everything else in my life is the same.
what about the relationship with your spouse and your kids?
So that has also definitely changed, with some small changes that you do. I certainly don't beat myself up, and feel guilty like I did before about some small things and like that feeling of, not being good enough of a mom or wife. I am definitely more present, have more energy. I kind of, implemented some new things to spend more time with them or spend more quality time with them. Like, for example, like if a few years ago I came up with this, it's kind of a family meeting game night thing that we do. So we all kind of sit at the table and first talk about what we're grateful for to each member of the family. Then we kind of talk about what happened in the previous week, what went well, what didn't go well, and then what are our plans for next week. And then we play several games. Usually I make some kind of dessert. So, like, just crafting that quality time, which gives the kids that attention that they crave. Yeah.
And how old are your kids now?
My son is 9 and my daughter is 4.
And then so you do it like every Sunday or something with everybody?
So it's actually pretty flexible with us because of my schedule. So I work 7 on, 7 off, and usually I do some extra shifts. So it's never just 7 on. But so we mostly do it every second week when I have more time. And it's not a certain yet day in the week just because of my schedule. But I would certainly recommend for people that do something like that to make it consistent so the kids know exactly what day it is in the week.
And how did you get your 4-year-old to get involved for, do you find that your 4-year-old is involved and
Oh,
understands
yeah.
and everything?
Yes. So, I mean, like, it's so funny, the things that she comes up with, because initially, before she wouldn't know, like, when we were talking about this, what we're grateful to each other, but now, like, she's so good at it. And she says, like, she like comes up with really good things.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, gratitude is really the cure to all negative states, I think, not all negative, mental states. So if you feel like you're in the negative spiral, victimizing yourself, blaming other people, feeling like just, thinking about me, I would say first really thing to do is like top 3 things that you're grateful for, like right now, like
Mhm.
around you. So you have mentioned that, and maybe we can dig into a little bit of the how. You have mentioned that, okay, before the mindset was you didn't have time, like truly no time to exercise. And you said, okay, you made it a priority. So what did you actually do? Your mindset was, I didn't have time. I truly didn't have time, but no, I will make it a priority. So what did you actually do to make it a priority?
So, I mean, it's just about that decision, like deciding in your mind that, what, now I'm going to make myself a priority. This is important to me. I need to take care of myself to be able to take care of others. And then once you decide, I think another important thing is just like doing small changes. I think a lot of times we decide to take too many things at once, just like, the New Year's resolutions, right? If you decide at one point you're going to like start eating healthier, exercise every day, spend more time with your kids, learn a new language or whatever it is, so many things at once, you're just bound to fail. So I think it's about those small changes. You decide, okay, this is what's important to me. This is what I'm going to do. And even with exercising, the way I did it, I didn't decide like I'm going to work out every day for an hour, 6 days a week, right? Because that would just not be sustainable and I couldn't find that much time probably. I decided, okay, I'm going to really like just decide to do 30 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week. And I think that, like, is totally doable. And then I just started doing it. And then once you just get into that routine, it just becomes a new habit, right? I think research shows that it takes about 3 weeks for something to become a habit. So you do that one small change. And then, once it's a habit, you add something else and you add something else. And those things really add up over time.
Yeah, I agree. Like a lot of times you can habit stack, close to another habit that you have. And you
Mhm.
look at the time you actually have available and then you chunk it down. So if you really only have 15 minutes, then go pull up. Like I love Heart Alchemy Yoga. They have power yoga and it can be 15 minutes and you can finish really fast and then be done. And then you prime your brain with dopamine or epi, et cetera, whatever. And then you get more energy to learn, to actually work, et cetera. So for the audience listening to this, you do not have to make a giant goal. Just tomorrow, it can be 5 minutes, it can be 10 minutes, whatever. Okay. And then you talked about getting over the guilt. How did you actually do that?
So I think there is like few things. First of all, kind of just normalizing and realizing that this is such a common thing, right? I think most moms struggle with that guilt, right? It's only probably the bad moms that don't ask themselves if they're bad moms, right? So just, yeah, normalizing it and then just kind of having self-compassion. I think that's another really, really important thing. And giving your, self some grace, just realizing I'm just a human, I'm doing my best, and sometimes we're just trying to survive. Sometimes we're just in really bad and like not bad, but like hard periods of life, right? When the kids are maybe small or whatever it is. Sometimes we're just going through a lot, and just giving yourself that self compassion and just not beating yourself about small things. Whatever it is. Like before, I used to, for example, like in my daughter's daycare, they have all the time, which I'm sure like most of the daycares have, like some kind of stuff, right? It's a pajama day, it's a superhero day, it's a wear pink day, whatever. Like it's all the time something, and then I would bring her to school and all the kids would be in a pajama. And my first thought would be like, oh my God, I'm such a bad mom. I cannot remember all these things, right? But now I don't do that to myself anymore. And again, it's a process, right? It doesn't happen overnight. But just like, first of all, like realizing when you do that, when that thought comes to your mind, and then just trying to give yourself some self compassion. And then even realizing some things just don't matter, right? The things that matter to me is like when they have some kind of events that parents like are supposed to come to, I make that a priority that one of us has to come. I think it's sad, kind of for kids if you don't come. But like pajama day, who cares? That's such a small thing, right? And we make it such a big thing in our mind, and we make it mean something about ourselves. And it doesn't mean that I'm a bad mom if I didn't know that it's pajama day, right?
Yeah, I can definitely resonate with that. The kids are they're not gonna care. I don't think they're gonna care. And
And
but it happened to me this morning because it was photo day today, but I
mm,
was away for a conference and I was like part of a virtual, leverage and growth summit. And I was like, I didn't order like a nice outfit for him to go to like photo day today, but I was like, okay. In 100 years, nothing this is not gonna matter in 100 years. It's fine.
mhm, exactly. I think this happens to all of us, And a lot of times, like we look at other people and we think, oh my God, how they have it all together. And I'm the only one, that's failing. But that's not true. We're all struggling with the same things.
Yeah, and I think this really truly applies to couples as well because especially with young kids, you really need both sides to, do 150% for things to get done. And that's just not possible. Everybody is really performing at 100%. You prioritize and do your best. And I wonder, were there any changes that you implemented regarding you and your husband to make sure that, he is also a non-negotiable?
Yeah, usually like date nights or something like that. For us, we don't really do date nights because honestly, like we don't have anybody also here that can, like we don't have family around. My family is in Croatia and his family is in France. Sometimes it's just so very expensive, like paying nanny, going to restaurants. So we don't do it like that, but he kind of has more than plenty of days off. And then with my schedule of 7 on, 7 off, we just like decide. Usually it's like a Friday or something like that to take some time for ourselves. So whether that's like go biking, or go to a restaurant while the kids are in school and stuff like that. Or just like even like we love doing house projects together. That's like one of we don't pay to somebody. We're never happy with how they do it. We do it ourselves and we just really enjoy that and spend that time together. And it's just really fun for us.
That's a great idea. Just do it during the day if you have time during the day, or carve out something for an hour and a half for lunch
Mhm.
dates. And use the school as your day, like your nanny. It's the daycare. You utilize that time. You're right, because sometimes, yeah, we have like weekend date nights, and we gotta. Everything is like double. Everything just at 100.
Yes.
So, and then what would you say fundamentally for from, you seeing what your clients, the biggest issue that you see, and really the top three action steps that they can take fundamentally in terms of priority? One, two, three.
One of the things I would say, this is what I do with my clients on the first session, is kind of if you decide that you want to change some things, really like sitting down and doing kind of like inventory of your life, right? So write down, this different areas of your life, what things are working, what's challenging, what's not working, and what do you want to change. And then, setting up a goal that you want to achieve and then seeing, what are the small steps that are going to take you to that goal. So that would be one, like the first thing, that kind of inventory of your life. So second thing I would say that is so important, especially again for physician moms, is that self-care. Really like finding whatever that is, self-care is not just like a bubble bath with candles or a massage, right? That we do so rarely. It's like crafting a life when you do have that time for yourself to recharge, to recuperate, to energize, whatever that is, some small things, whether that's asking your husband to do the bedtime instead of you, a few times a week so that you can go to bed early, get enough sleep, or read a book, whether that's going for a 15-minute walk every day, by yourself, so you can listen to your favorite podcast or listen to an audiobook or whatever. Or whether that's like that, exercising or whatever it is, just finding out what that means to you, what you feel you need, and then really being serious about it and doing it because you really do need it. I mean, we cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself so that you could take care of others. Another thing would be that probably focusing on quality of time that you spend with your loved ones instead of quantity, because you can truly be all day, with your kids or your husband at home, but have no quality of time. Like think about, a weekend day when you're just like trying to catch up with everything, laundry, cooking, cleaning, and all the things. And every time the kids come to you, you're like, okay, I don't have time now. We'll do it later. We'll do it later. Right. So at the end of the day, sometimes you notice that you really didn't spend any quality time with them at all, even though you were physically there all day. So really just crafting that time. And the way when you do it that way, it's kind of on your own terms, but kids really get that attention. Whether that another thing I do a lot of times with my kids on Friday, afternoons, I pick them up from school and we go either to a park and then for an ice cream, or to a library and then something else, something like that. But you give them that time, where you really just, this is for them. Or like one-on-one days, when my son doesn't have school a lot of times, then we call it like Garrett and Mommy Day, and we just like do, and it's usually not even a whole day, it's few hours. I let him choose whatever he wants to do. And then we do that. Same I do with my daughter when a lot of times they go camping, my son and my husband on weekends, and then that's our day, we do whatever she wants. And then her bucket is full, right? And then she's really good so that I can do all the other things I need to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really about presence and attention. So, if you can have full presence, full attention, not scrolling on your social media, because I've also heard moms like they just want to relax. Their me time is social media,
Mhm.
but they feel guilty about doing that
Mhm.
because with their kids. So, really commit to make a decision to spend, even just an hour, 2 hour with your kids, full presence, attention. And also with your husband too, when you're saying goodbye to your husband or coming home, instead of like, hello, or just like a quick peck, actually spend time giving a hug, a kiss, like a full on presence attention to your significant other. And that really truly helps then compared to just, hello, how's your day? That's it. So that's awesome. So in summary, take a life inventory of the things you have to do, stop feeling guilty, and prioritize self care. And then
Mhm.
number three is full presence and attention when you are spending time with each other, with your kids and husband. So it's quality, not quantity. Does that sound
Mm.
about correct?
Yes,
Oh,
perfect.
okay, awesome. And then can you tell us a little bit about if people want to work with you, discover a little bit of how to accelerate their timeline and get to that end goal, end vision a little faster? Can you tell us a little bit about your coaching and the course that you're working on and your contact?
Yeah, sure. So it's called Physician Moms Thrive. It's for busy physician moms. Currently, I offer a 6-week course, which is really a hybrid between an online course and one-on-one coaching. So once you sign up, you get access to the course, which gives you those, tools and actionable steps that you do to make your life better, and also let you schedule those one-on-one coaching. So idea is that you do once a week a coaching session with me, and then we work on whatever your goals are. But keeping in mind how busy physician moms are, and I know it's not always possible, so it's really very flexible. I mean, if you want to schedule all sessions in 1 week, that's perfectly fine. It really doesn't matter for me, whatever works for the client. So yeah, and usually, what I've noticed that clients really do after those 6 weeks, leave with change in mindset, clear priorities, clear goals, feeling less guilty, less inadequate, and a more self-compassion.
Awesome. So go to physicianmomsthrive.com. Is that right? That's the website? Okay. And then the course, that's the one that you're currently working on, or it's already done. I know you said that you're working on a new course right now.
Yes, it's almost done.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. So thank you again so much for your time and, the actions today, the pearls. And I would say, once you reach out to Dr. A, and one important thing is also to not be afraid to ask for help and, not be afraid to pay for help or not be afraid to pay for your time back. So you can do the three things that we had talked about. So again, I really appreciate your time. And for everybody who is listening, the links will be posted on productivitymd.com in the show notes. And just remember that everything we need is within us now. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Anne.
Disclaimer: this content is for general information purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine. No doctor patient relationship is formed. The use of this information linked to this content is at the user's own risk. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical conditions they may have and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. The views are personal views only and do not represent any university or government institution.